McCoy. Defensive tackle, number 72, Bill Yanchar. Middle guard, number 62, Dave Beek. Center, number 56, Walt Whitehead. Middle guard, number 65, Tom Bayless. Defensive end, number 97, Dennis Rogalski. Defensive end, number 20, Willie Nelson. Cornerback, number 43, Tim Foley. Defensive back, number 32, Don Webster. Quarterback, number 10, Don Kiepert. And quarterback, number 15, Mike Phipps. The head coach of the Boilermakers, Jack Mullencock. Good coach. Now introducing the starting offensive lineup for the Ohio State Buckeyes. At left end, number 80, Dan White. At left tackle, number 75, Dave Cheney. At left guard, number 53, Brian Donovan. At center, number 52, Tom DeLone. At right guard, number 61, Alan Jack. At right tackle, number 72, Chuck Hutchison. At right end, number 82, Bruce Jankowski. At halfback, number 16, Larry Zalina. At quarterback, number 10, Rex Kern. Halfback, number 22, Leo Hayden. The fullback, number 35, Jim Otis. And the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, Woody Hayes. Now again, here's Dick Dickel.
The pregame activities have been concluded and we'll be back for the opening kickoff here at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Now we return to our studios. For this message, a standing room only crowd here at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, as Ohio State has won the toss in their scarlet jerseys and gray. They will receive to our left. They will be moving into a wind at 12 miles an hour, blustering to 22 miles an hour. But I would think that the wind today, here in this horseshoe-shaped stadium, will have some effect on the play.
It's going to have a big effect here in the first quarter. Purdue has got the wind at their back. Ohio State, of course, will be striving to maintain ball possession while Purdue has the wind.
Try men back for Ohio State, Ray Gilliam, Larry Zalina, Tom Campana. And here is Jeff Jones, number 14, who holds an NCAA record of consecutive points after touchdown at 39. He will now start the game. The game actually does not start officially until the ball is legally touched and the clock begins. Now the ball coming down at about the 5. That's Larry Zalina, one of the great kick return men in the country. And he is hit hard by number 32 of the Purdue Boilermakers, Don Webster from Chicago, Illinois. Joined by Tom Holden, also a Chicago native. And now the nation's number 1 team is just their lineup. Will have the ball first and 10 at approximately their own 23-yard line. But
Ohio State operates out of the full house T backfield in I formation and a certain slot double wing. This is the slot I.
This is a team that averaged 47 points a game. 7-0 is Kern on the option. Just out to number 22, Leo Hayden, a junior from Dayton, Ohio. Jim Otis is the fullback, number 35, one of the greats. Larry Zalina, who returned the opening kick, is the halfback, 16. Jankowski is the end, 82, and White, number 80.
And the last play was the key pattern for Ohio State. The fake to Otis. He may have the ball a lot of the times inside, but he really sets it up wide.
In the middle man is Otis in that backfield, and the hand up the big fullback cracks over his left tackle. He's across the 30 to about the 32-yard line, and he's brought down there by the boy from Athens, Greece. More recently from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, here, Vito back. Third down situation. The ends are inside. It's a straight T formation. A handoff to Otis. Otis finds an opening on the left side. He bolts left to the 35-yard line, and there the big fullback is brought down, and in on that tackle again is Nebraska best end Jimmy Teal. Teal from Salisbury, North Carolina, a sophomore. But it is first and 10 for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they are showing the power. Out of the huddle they come, and Jankowski is split far to the right side, the open end of this field. Up over that ball to the center, Tom DeLone. Next turn looks over that defense. It's a 5-man defensive front. He turns, he rolls out to the right side. He is almost hemmed in. He cuts to the left. Tries to evade another tackler, can't do it, and he's brought down at the 36-yard line. Dennis Wergowski from Bay City, Michigan. 6'5", a 222-pound senior. And Wergowski, shaken up to the play, is limping off the field, and it is left leg that has been hurt. Replacing him is Willie Nelson, a senior from Newark, New Jersey. Where's number 90? So, 2nd and 9, a pickup of 1. And Rex Kern again with an I formation this time. Fakes the handoff, drops back, fires a pass. It is incomplete at the 50-yard line. An attempt for a diving catch made by tight end Jan White. Junior from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, but the Kern that time did not have a lot of time to throw. It's 3rd and 9.
Vince, Purdue is lining up 8 men on the line and then dropping off to a 7-man line, so you can see that Mollenkopf is trying to stop the running game of Ohio State.
Galena in as a wing back on the right side, and Jankowski splits to the right. I formation. Notice the number 1 man. He looks down there, wants the pass, almost beat trapped. He loses the football. 3-man dime on that football. I believe it's a Buckeye who recovers the fumble as the ball was ripped out of the arms of Rex Kern as he was back to pass on 3rd. Cooper goes into the slot again to the right side. Drops straight back. He's being rushed. He fires a screen. It is incomplete. The screen was intended that time for Scott Clayton, the fullback. But Ohio State had Spindlet in there very, very fast, putting tremendous pressure on Phipps, and he barely was able to unload that football. So now Phipps is 1 for 4. And it's 2nd and 10 with no score here at Columbus, Ohio. And again, they bring in Pulaski in this passing situation. Tatum is playing out here, the great Roverback, playing out to the open side of this field. Again, Brown sent as a flanker to the left side, and Fenner split to the right side, and Cooper again goes into that slot over on the right, the short side of the field. Phipps dropping straight back. He is looking, has a little time, fires. It is dropped at the 30-yard line by Greg Fenner, the split end. And it appeared to be a perfectly thrown pass, and he was wide open at the 30. Jim Stillwagon was the fellow who was trying to cover Fenner on it, but they said if he'd been able to hold on to it, they'd have had themselves a 1st and 10. As it is, it's a drop forward pass, making it 3rd and 10.
Woody Hayes is shooting different men into that backfield, Vince, and I'll say Phipps has had very fine protection thus far.
Again, he has 1 man in that back. Man in that backfield with him, and that's the fullback Clayton. Everybody else out as receivers. And Clayton rolling out the left side. Pressure put on. He fires a pass. Good defensive coverage that time by Tatum, the Roverback. Did a great job on Stan Brown. Came in and smothered. Brown, just as that ball was getting to him, Bill Strickland was leading the rush by the front line for Ohio State, and The Boilermakers have yet to run the football. Now it is 4th down and 10 from the 41-yard line of Ohio State. Galena back in a single safety at the 10-yard line for Ohio, and it is Lockheed back in deep punt formation. Scott Lockheed from Fort Wayne was standing on his 45-yard line to snap from center. He gets the foot away. It's a high one, and he's got that wind with him. It's going to carry apparently into the end zone. It does. It does not go out of bounds. He was trying to hit that far corner. It'll be 1st and 10 for Ohio State at their own 20 following that touchback, which actually went 41 yards, but of course the touchback brings it out to the 20. So it's 1st and 10 for Ohio State, and there is still no score as Purdue stayed in the air on every play, the first time it had its hands on the football. Now Ohio State comes out of its huddle, 1st and 10 at their own 20. In split wide to the right side, with Galena in at the slot on the right. The I formation, Rex Kern doing that quarterbacking, looking over that Purdue defense with 5 men up front. And the linebackers up very, very close. He turns, he hands off to Otis, and this time Otis is hit at the line of scrimmage, and he is brought down for little, if any, gain. Into the tackle, Tim Foley and Bayless. Tom Bayless, the senior from East St. Louis, 6'4", 221. And Foley, senior from Wilmette, Illinois. It is 2nd down. We'll call it 9. Gillian has come in now as Selena's gone out, and Woody Hayes is using them to bring in plays from the bench so far today. Turns, takes the handoff, fires a pass complete to the 30-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10. Jan White, the receiver, leaped high in the air to grab that ball in front of Foley, who brought him down almost immediately on this near sideline. And so Rex Kern has 1 completion in 2 attempts. Now Campana comes in, and Gillian goes out in the backfield for Ohio State. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line of the Buckeyes with no score. End is inside on the right side. He has split Bruce Ginkowski to the left side with the wingback over there in the I formation. Turns and he hands off to Otis, the fullback. Drives over his own left guard and tackle, and Otis picks up no more than a yard or so. He is brought down by Jim Teal and by Vino Perez-Cavez. And Otis, one of the great ball carriers in Ohio State's history, has not been able to get too much running room so far today. He has picked up 7 yards in 4 carries. Far, far below his average. 2nd down and 9 from the 32-yard line of Ohio State. Let's see what Kern attempts to do. He drops back from the 25, looks downfield, fires a pass, and is incomplete, intended for Gillian. Good coverage there on Gillian by Steve DeGrand Mason and also by Jim Teal. So it is another apparent passing situation. No score. Check with LaSalle, your friend on the financial Main Street of Mid-America, and find out how you can write all the checks you want for free. LaSalle National Bank, 135 South LaSalle, Chicago. They bring in another defensive back.
to hold for the field goal, and he just couldn't handle that football.
High formation for Ohio State. He gives to Otis. Otis cracking off his own left tackle, veering to the outside, is still contained. He got across the 45 to about the 47-yard line, and it is Rich Mayhurt, the junior from Midland, Pennsylvania, making the stop on Big Jim Otis. Dan White comes out of there, and going in is Dick Kuhn at the end spot for Ohio State. It's 2nd down and 6 from the I formation. Kern turns. He takes the handoff. He's rolling out to the left side, the short side. He is going to be run out of bounds at about the Purdue 46-yard line by Willie Nelson. Kern on the rollout had 2 men in front of him, and he picks up first down yardage. And the Buckeyes, for the first time now, are in a pretty good position on this field offensively. Kuhn comes out, and going in at the end spot again is Jan White. Out to the right is Purdue Jankowski. 1st and 10 at the 47. Kern rolling out to the right side, makes the pass. He's going to run. He's down to the 40. He comes to the left side to the 35. He is blocked out of the 34-yard line by cornerback Steve DeGrant Mason. It is 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes. It's Kern who runs that option, as well as any quarterback in the country.
Listen, when he cuts back
with that little fake on the pass.
That's right. When he cuts back, he doesn't lose any ground either.
Beautiful. Buckeyes drifting. Jankowski split to the left side, and it's Gillian in the wingback spot to the left. The play over to the right side, and he hands to Otis. Otis, muscling, power play. Keeps those legs turning as he drives the Boilermakers, 2 tacklers, back to the 30-yard line of Purdue. Billy McCoy, big defensive end, 227 pounds. Lino Paraskevas in there on the tackle. And Jim Otis drove as hard on that play as he is capable of doing. It is 2nd and 6 to pick up a 4. A handoff this time to the first man off that I formation, and he cracks again into that left guard tackle, and he is brought down by, it is Otis again, down to about the 27-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and about 3. Jim Teal into the tackle for the Purdue Boilermakers. Ohio State threatening to score. No score so far. 5:35 left to play in the first period. Out of the huddle they come. He has Jankowski split to the left side. Turns, hands off to, takes the head off, and pitch out here to the Selena. Zelina trying to skirt his own right hand. Is hit hard at the 21-yard line. Out on the play, one of the Purdue Boilermakers, Steve DeGrant Mason, who made a very, very hard tackle, and DeGrant Mason has been knocked out. He is flat on his back between the 20 and 25-yard line. Angelina on the pitch out, sweeping right in, makes first down yardage to the 21-yard line of Purdue. Time out down here on the field with a score, Ohio State nothing and Purdue nothing. Now time is in. Gillian in the slot to the left side. Otis and King back. Here's a rush put on Kern. He eludes the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Left to the left, now downfield to the 20. Still struggling, and he's on his feet, finally brought down at the 17 or 18-yard line. And a great, great run that time by Kern to avoid a big loss. It was Ron Marie who finally made the tackle along with Willie Nelson. He's an excellent runner, make no mistake about it. 6 carries, 11 yards for Kern. He had been thrown for a loss a couple of times, but he's picked up 4 yards right here. 3 times he's been thrown for losses. It is 2nd and 6 at the 17-yard line of Purdue. Slap man to the right side and split into the right side. A handoff to Otis, a fullback. Cracks over the center. Otis to the 15-yard line is brought down. He fell across at 15. Let's see where referee Calhoun is going to put that ball. It is just past the 15-yard line. Dave Beek, a junior from Warsaw, Indiana, and Ron Marie in that tackle. Beek, B-E-I-G-H, a junior, 5'11", 210 pounds. Going out is Kuhn as an end position, and coming in is Bruce Jankowski. Otis now has picked up 20 yards rushing on 8 carries. It's a T formation this time, but the end's in tight. 3rd down 4. Kern rolls to the right side, fires the pass the 10-yard line. It is complete to Zelina. Zelina is tackled immediately at the 10 by Tim Foley. But that should be first down yardage. He rolled to the right side. from the T formation. And he just picked up an out for a 1st and 10, just inches outside the Purdue 10-yard line. And if they make a first down here without scoring a touchdown, it'll be 1st and about 6 inches to go for a touchdown. Ohio State threatening here with 3 minutes and 41 seconds left in the first quarter. Again, it's a straight T formation with the ends in tight. Kern turns, hands off to Otis, the big fullback. Running to the outside. He picks up 4 very hard-earned yards as he cranked off his own right tackle. He was stopped there. Moved out to the right side some 3 or 4 steps, and that's where he made the yardage. It was Billy McCoy from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Mike McDaniel from Johnson City, Illinois, who finally made the stop on Otis. The ball just at the 6-yard line, 2nd down. Straight T formation again, and the ends are in tight once more. Rex Kern looking over that Purdue defense with about 8 men up on that line of scrimmage for the Boilermakers. Here's the keeper by the quarterback. He's in. Ohio State scores. On the quarterback, beat by Kern, nudging between his own right guard and tackle, and he went in uncontested. 2:56 left to play in the first quarter. Ohio State has taken a 6-0 lead. They went 57 yards in 10 plays. Keeper to hold. Here's the attempted boot by White. It is no good. Blocked by the Purdue Boilermakers, Billy McCoy. And the score remains Ohio State 6. And the Boilermakers nothing. Kern passing now, 2 for 4, total of 15 yards. Rushing, Kern carried 7 times, a total of 17 yards, including a touchdown. So we will have the kickoff now by White. All teed up on this west side hash mark at the 40. White comes forward. Here's the boot. It is a good kick into this wind. It is coming down, fumbled at the 8, picked up, fumbled again. He falls on it at the 14-yard line. Stan Brown having a lot of difficulty that time handling that football. And boy, could that have been costly. Jack Tatum came in very, very quickly there and hit Brown almost before he got a good grasp on that football. 1st and 10 from the Boilermakers. We'll call it the 15-yard line, although it is a little bit shy of that 15. Bell and Fenner into the ends. As they break the huddle, Fenner comes to this narrow side. Out wide to the right side is Stan Brown. It's a 9 formation. And now they break the eye, leave only the fullback. Back of Mike Phipps. He's going to pass. He's rushed. He fires. Here it is. Caught at the 25-yard line by the split end, Greg Fenner, who is tackled immediately by Tim Anderson. And there is real courage, Lou.
Yes, he just released that ball in time because the blitz was on. And, of course, it was Tatum again and almost hit Phipps. In fact, I thought he hit him while his arm was in motion forward to release that football.
Fenner that time making an excellent catch. It's 1st and 10 out to the 25-yard line of Purdue. Brown wide to the right side of the flanker. In the split to this left side of the field. Phipps hands off to Cooper, finds an opening in the center of that line, spins his way to the 31-yard line where he is brought down by Phil Strickland, the junior from Cincinnati, Ohio. And that is, I believe, the best gain rushing that Purdue has had so far in this football game. Pick up of 6 by Cooper. 2nd down and 4. 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first quarter. Out of the huddle they come. The ball is at the 31-yard line of Purdue. They are trailing 6-0. Brown wide to the right side. Phipps out of pitch hat. To Cooper trying this left side. He's got to go nowhere. The Ohio State Buckeyes cut over quickly that time in this close side of the field, and they swarmed on Cooper at the 45-yard line. Mark DeBevick making the stop. It is very close to first down yardage, and Calhoun, the referee, signals he wants the chain gang to come in from the far side of the field for a measurement before they move this football. If he doesn't make it, he can't be more than a couple of inches away from it. It is very, very close, and here comes that chain gang in. Snow flurries in the air, and a crowd of some 75,000 in the stands. They expected more than that, and more than 75,000 tickets have been sold. They have the measurement, and he is just inches away, no more than a couple from first down yardage. So a big play coming up for both of these football teams. Ball at the 34-yard line of Purdue, 3rd down and inches. Mike Phipps
keep the ball?
Possible. Try, of course, to work behind his center and his guard if he does that. Out of the huddle they come. Clock shows a minute 38 seconds left to play in the first period. A benign formation. Moving this time at the ends, both in tight. Inches away from first down yardage. Phipps turns and he hands off to Brown. The little fella drives hard. He makes first down yardage, plus another yard or so of his own left guard and tackle. Boy, he hits hard.
Yes, he does. And Vince, with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and the wind at Phipps' back, he's going to have to gamble here, eventually on the long bomb, to try to get a score on that scoreboard for Purdue.
Into that tackle, number 79, Big Bill Urbanic, senior from Donora, Pennsylvania, and Doug Adams, linebacker from McZeaney, Ohio, calls the defensive signals, 214 pounds. First and 10 for the Boilermakers, who are trailing 6-0. It's a 5-man defensive line. For Ohio State, Phipps drops straight back. He fires and is batted down, intended for Ashley Bell, and a fine defensive play by Jack Tatum, who cut in front of Ashley Bell just at the right moment and batted that ball down incomplete. A very fine move. Only Jimmy Harris, they say, has more speed on the Ohio State football squad than does Jack Tatum, the roverback from Passaic, New Jersey, a junior. 6 feet tall, weighs about 205 pounds.
You know, Vince, that Tatum came over from his monster position or linebacking position on the other side of the field.
He's fast. Again, Cooperson in the slot to left, leaving only Clayton back there with Mike Phipps. He drops back to pass. He's got some protection, throws one out here to the 35-yard line, rather, to Clayton, I believe it is. He is brought down immediately at the 40-yard line by Jack Tatum. It was Scott Clayton making that one. He again is the secondary target on that pass. It was not a screen. There was nobody there to screen in front of him, but his primary receivers were covered. Clayton, jarred by that tackle, goes out of that Purdue backfield. And let's see, it is John Bullock who has come in there to replace him. Bullock, a junior from Newport News, Virginia. He's a lone man in the backfield now with a slide over to the right side, and Phipps dropping back to the 25-yard line, and he throws intending for Bullock. He cannot quite hold on to it. It's just a little bit off target, a little bit high for Bullock, who reached out for it, but he could not make the catch. And the Ohio State Buckeyes have stopped Purdue with 20 seconds left in the first quarter. 4th and 8 at the 39-yard line. They will just have time to get this punt underway with the wind at the back. Here is Scott Lockheed standing back on his 25-yard line. Zelina back in a single safety. And the boot from about the 30. Pretty high one in the wind, carrying it downfield. Zelina under it, makes the grab at the 14, to the 15, to the 20. Cuts the left side of the 25. He is out of bounds at about the 28 or 29-yard line on the far side of the field. Tom Lucan, sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio, was the fellow who drove him out of bounds. Lucan, 6'3", 226. A 48-yard kick. And a 15-yard return by Zelina. Ohio State leading 6-0. Kern on a roll out to the right side. He's going to keep. He's to the 30. He is hit from behind and drags his tacklers up to the 35-yard line. It was Dave Beek who made the stop on Kern. There at the end of the first quarter with the score in Columbus, Ohio State 6, Purdue nothing.
Up to that. We're witnessing quite a football game here. Two very fine coached football teams. Great blocking, jarring tackles, and great running by Otis and Kern has given the Ohio State Buckeyes a 6-0 lead as the extra point attempt was blocked. And now we're ready to start the second quarter. Okay, Vince.
All right, Lou. Bruce Jankowski is the end split to the left side. 2nd and 3 at the 35-yard line of Ohio State. 2nd and 3. Kern handing off in a big opening on the top play. Up the center comes Leo Hayden to the 40, to the 43-yard line. Leo Hayden, who just a few minutes ago had thrown a key block for Rex Kern, this time carries down the track. And a tremendous hole in the center there. As he got into the secondary, cut to his left, and he's put that ball at the 43-yard line. Mike McDaniel in on the tackle. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line of Ohio State. Slot man to the left side, an I formation, Kern. Fakes to Otis, pitches out to Hayden. Hayden skips back 1 mile to the 25, to the 50, to the 45 of Purdue. He is brought down, and again it's Mike McDaniel into the tackle of Leo Hayden, a junior from Dayton, Ohio.
And at high school, he captained his high school football, track, and wrestling teams. He has an average of just under 5 yards a carry this year with a couple of touchdowns. He has speed and power. This afternoon, Hayden has carried 3 times, has picked up 25 yards. Well, 6'2", 205. First and 10 at the 45-yard line of Purdue. Ohio State trying to roll to its second touchdown. A give to Otis, and Otis is hit immediately. What a fine stop by Ron Marie that time, who diagnosed that play perfectly in the 274-pound junior tackle. Hit Otis and stopped him dead in his tracks, one of the few times that will happen to Otis. Second down and 10. Out comes Gillian. In goes Zelina in the backfield for Ohio State. Zelina in the slot to the left side. Out to the left is the split end, Rich Kuhn. Kern drops back. He's looking. Now he's going to run. He's to the 45, to the 40. And he is hit and brought down at the 35-yard line. It was not intended to be a running play, I am sure. He had sent Otis through the line after delaying in the backfield, and I think he wanted to pass to Otis, but Otis was hit at the line of scrimmage, and there was no way for him to get through. But Kern did see daylight, and he has moved that ball down to the 35-yard line. It is 3rd and 1. Great perception, great reaction, Vince, to
Wonderful.
time that running and cut back as greatly as he does. He's a tremendous football player, a complete quarterback.
From a T formation, 3rd and short yardage. Kern. Flag on the play as he turned the handoff, and they made an illegal procedure against Ohio State. And it's a delay of game penalty. The whistle blew just as they started the play, and it'll be a 5-yard walk-off, the first penalty of this football game. Kern so far has carried 9 times, has 34 yards. And as a passer, Kern has thrown 4 times, 2 completions. He has scored the game's only touchdown. Phipps has put the ball in the air 12 times for Purdue. He has completed 4. Now 3rd and 6 from an I formation. Ball at the 40-yard line of Purdue. Kern drops back, looks downfield. Now he's going to run. He's to the 40, to the 35. He puts his head down and drives hard to the 33-yard line. And once again, Kern shows why he is such a favorite here at Ohio State. As his receivers were covered and he had a rush put on, I believe Marie was the first one through. And this big giant beat Ty to obstruct his vision. All he did was duck his head and set sail downfield, and he has put the ball down to the 32-yard line. First and 10 for the Buckeyes. A big play by Rex Kern at Ohio State. They lead 6-0 from the I formation. He turns, he picks the hand off, he pitches out, and carrying this time is his speedster, Leo Hayden. Hayden trying to sweep her on the left side is brought down at about the 25-yard line by Willie Nelson. And assisting on the tackle is linebacker Jim Teal. 2nd down and 3. And the Buckeyes seemingly rolling on to their second touchdown. The I formation. End is split wide to the right side. Fakes to Otis, gives to the second man on a reverse, and he is brought down. It is Larry Zelina. On the reverse play, it was brought down on an excellent move by Rich Mayhert, who came up quickly that time. He is dropped at the 25-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 3, and Zelina comes out and Gillian goes in. Gillian, 5'11", 198. He's a senior from Uniontown, Pennsylvania. I formation again. The end is split to the right side. Kern drops back, and he gives this time to Hayden. Hayden coming off his own right tackle, driving hard for first down yardage, and I believe he may have had it, but there's going to be... Up it is, 1st and 10. Rascabas into that tackle along with Dave Beat. Leo Hayden, 6'2", 205, puts his head down and sees any kind of daylight. He is very, very hard to bring down. Jankowski split to the right side from the I. Turn and a handoff to Otis on a slant off his own left tackle, and Otis moves the ball down to the Purdue Boilermakers 16-yard line. Jim Teal into the stop, and again for Rascabas in there. And Ohio State mixing up their offense beautifully. Power with Otis, speed and power with Hayden, and Rex Kern. Tremendous ability to react to that defense, and they are moving. Kern
On a handoff to Hayden. Hayden trying to split the middle. He gets across the 20 to perhaps the 17-yard line for Raskovas in the tackle. Put the ball down at the 16-yard line at the hash mark on this west side of the field, and Ohio State leading 6-0. Now has it 3rd down and 5. Zamina coming out. Gillian comes in, whispers a play. Sent in from the sidelines. Split to the right side is Jankowski. And Gillian into the slot to the right side. Turn dropping back. He wants a pass. The ball is batted in the air by an on-rushing Purdue lineman, Jim Rennie, a sophomore from Tipton, Indiana. Batted that ball down for an incomplete forward pass. Great stop that time by Purdue's defense. Good penetration against a team that's hard to penetrate on. Coming in now to attempt this field goal attempt will be Stan White. Ball will be placed down at about the 23-yard line. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. White puts it in the air. It is good. That is the first field goal this year by Ohio State. The first they have even attempted. Nope, not the first they've attempted. It is the first one that they have made. And the score is Ohio State 9, Purdue 0. Well, now with Purdue leading 9-0, or I should say, correction, Ohio State leading, Purdue lined up to receive this kickoff. We have 9 minutes and 47 seconds left of this bruising football game. Fine tackling, fine running. The Ohio State team moves at you in all directions, as Vince has mentioned, and then if they're in a passing situation, if Kern's receivers are covered, he just takes off and it becomes a broken play, but one that has gained several yards and has been very important for the Buckeyes. Now we're all set for the kickoff, Vince. All right, Stan White will move. Deep is Stan Brown. He is standing inside the 5. Here's Arnold Carter up at about the 10-yard line. Here is the kick. High end over end boot, taken at the 10-yard line by Brown. Comes straight up the field to the 15 to the 20. To the 25, Brown is hit. And he drives forward to about the 27 and 28-yard line, where he is brought down. It'll be Purdue's ball, 1st and 10 for the Boilermakers. Well, I've noticed making the tackle. I've noticed that Phipps was on the telephone with the scouts up in the press box. So let's see if he'll try something different or something new against this Ohio State great defense. All right, 1st and 10, Phipps drops back, rolls to the left side. He is being chased out of bounds, and he is thrown out at about the 25-yard line, and a great rush put on that time. And throwing him out of bounds was Bill Urbanek. I believe that, trying to spot who the other man was who was putting some pressure on him there. They may have had Provo on a bit of a blitz that time. Mark Urbanek, fine defensive end, also putting some pressure on. He works in a steel mill the offseason. Stan Brown, split wide to the right side, or flank wide to the right side. Phipps dropping back from the 10, fires a screen pass. It is incomplete. Let me tell you, that could have been intercepted that time, as coming up there was Phil Strickland for Ohio State. And Paul Smithland had put a lot of pressure on Mike Phipps. But Purdue is not afraid to gamble. Phipps likes to put that ball in the air. Remember now, he is passing against the wind. Coming in defensively is Mike Pulaski, and going out is Ted Provo. It is 2nd and 13 from the 25-yard line of Purdue. Boilermakers trailing 9-0 in the second quarter. Phipps taking a lot of time. He drops back. He looks downfield. He fires a pass. It is intercepted at the 43-yard line by Mike Principal. He finds correction out by Anderson. He's to the 30. He breaks the tackle. He's to the 20. Principal. Anderson still going and finally dropped down after zigzagging all the way to the 5-yard line. And a penalty flag has been thrown at the field at about the 38-yard line, where an apparent slipping violation was detected against Ohio State that will nullify that tremendous run back on the interception by Tim Anderson. Randy Cooper, the fellow, finally made the tackle deep in Purdue territory, but the walk-off of 15 yards for clipping moves the ball back to a more comfortable position for Purdue to the 47-yard line of Ohio State. This usually happens on interception or a punt return because of the zigzagging technique of that runner. And sometimes the blocking angle is not perfect. Rex Kern gives off to his second man of that odd formation. It is Leo Hayden. And Hayden cracking over his own left guard and tackle, advances the ball about 3 yards, maybe less than that. As Calhoun puts that ball squarely between the sidelines at the 47-yard line of Ohio State. Zelina comes out, and Gillian goes in, bringing in a play from Coach Woody Hayes. The ends are Dan White and Bruce Jankowski. He has Jim Otis, the number one man in the I formation, and Hayden lined up directly behind him. Kern has a slot man to the left. He fakes to Otis. He pitches out to Hayden. Hayden swerving downfield at the 50 to the 45 to the 40. And he is brought down for a 1st and 10 at about the 41-yard line of Purdue. A tackle made by Mike McDaniel. But Hayden has been absolutely devastating for Ohio State today. He has now picked up 53 yards on 8 carries. Almost 7 yards a carry. Kern fakes the pass. He's rolling to the left side. He's to the 40. Cuts laterally to the left. Wants to go downfield. He is hit right at the sideline marker so hard the ball went flying out of his hands. But he was already out of bounds at that spot when he was hit by Jim Rennie, 187-pound sophomore defensive back from Tipton, Indiana. Ball being brought into the hash mark on the west side of the field and put down at the Purdue 35-yard line. 2nd and 5 for Ohio State. The Buckeyes lead 9-0. 8 minutes, 15 seconds left to play in the first half. Timeout is now taken by Ohio State with a score Buckeyes 9, Purdue 0.
Mixes from Borden.
Other scores in Big Ten action at the end of the first period of play: Minnesota 0, Michigan State 0. Out east, VMI 0, Boston College 21 at the end of the first period. At the end of the half, it's Dartmouth 7 and Cornell 0. At the end of the first quarter, it's William and Mary 14, Villanova 0. With 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in this second period, Ohio State now on Purdue's 35-yard line. And it will be 1st and 10, or 2nd down and 5, I should say, with Ohio State leading 9-0. And this is a mark of a very good football team when the interception taken on the 50 and run back to about the 7 or 8, and then the penalty deferred to Ohio State. They're coming right back. All right. Here's Kern ready. He gives off to Otis. Otis on a slant, drives off his own left guard and tackle, still moves laterally to the outside, and he manages to pick up a couple of additional yards after being hit. He puts that ball up to the 30-yard line of Purdue. Mayhurt in on the tackle for the Boilermakers. And their defense being sorely tested here by Ohio State. Steve DeGrand Mason had gone over to the sidelines during that timeout period to talk with his coaching staff. 5 men up front, and they have 2 linebackers up right in the line of scrimmage. A T formation for the Buckeyes. The ends are in tight. Kern turns, hands off to Otis. The big fullback is hit. Just before he gets to the line of scrimmage, he manages to fall forward to the 30-yard line. The first man to hit him in there was Ron Marie, the big 274-pound junior tackle. Ball is brought just inches shy of the 30-yard line. Jankowski comes in, and Kuhn goes out at an end spot for Ohio State. It is now 4th down and a yard at the 30-yard line. 4th and a yard, and let's see if this Boilermaker defense can stop him. Kern calls for quiet from the crowd. He's got it. He turns from a tee, hands off Otis, dive. No, sir, it's a fake. And Kern on a keeper rolls to the left side. But he is stopped at about the 30. He made it. He fell across the 30 and got just enough yardage for the 1st and 10. 3 of the Boilermakers up there trying to stop him. Mayhurt was the bottom man of the play. Steve DeGrand Mason was also there. And I've already lost track. I think the other man, Lou, was... well, he fooled me completely. I was watching Otis all the way. Boy, did I go for that one. I went with Otis. 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line. Fake to Otis. This time Zelina to the left side. Now cuts back to the 25, and he is inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. Excellent offensive power shown here by Ohio State so far. DeGrand Mason into that tackle for Manchester, New Hampshire, a junior. It is 2nd and 3. Zelina picking up 7 on that one. Here's Jim Otis.
coming through that line of scrimmage, staggered a little bit as he was hit by the first man. He kept his balance, used his hand to keep from having his knee touch the ground, and he drives that football to the 15-yard line of Purdue. Quickly, they're out of the huddle. Purdue barely had time to set a defense. Turn from a G formation. Turns hands off. Otis. Big opening on the left side. Plows through to the 10-yard line. He is hit and driven back a couple of yards. But he had found an opening for his own left guard to tackle and was down to the 10-yard line of Purdue when he was hit. It is just inside the 10. Into that tackle by 5. Jim Keel, Jim Rennie, and Bill Yanchar. It is second down and 5. Ohio State driving again. Leo Hayden up through the center. Bumps over one man, and he leaps as he gets that ball down to the 6-yard line of this really worked up Ohio State Buckeye team. Wants this touchdown badly. You can tell that the adrenaline is really flowing. They are moving quickly up to that line of scrimmage. Clarence got the crowd for now silences by raising his arms. Has a T formation in the backfield behind him. He turns, hands to Otis. Otis drives. He is not going to be denied. He's in for a touchdown. Jim Otis driving from a little more than 5 yards out, and he left 2 or 3 Purdue men flat on their backs as he just would not be denied. He wanted that goal line, and his tremendous effort propelled him into that end zone for the second Ohio State touchdown of the day. And I believe that it was Steve the Grand Mason who was bowled over, not flat on his back, and is still lying on the field out there and is now being helped to his feet. He had really been hit hard by Otis, and he is limping now, and the Purdue trainer is going to help him as he goes limping off the field. And also giving him an assist right now, one of his teammates up front there, Tom Bayless from East St. Louis, a senior. Otis has carried 15 times. He has 46 yards. He has 1 touchdown. Kern has the other, and we've had a field goal. So the score, with 5:32 left to play in the first half. With snow flurries here at Columbus, is the Buckeyes 15, Purdue nothing, and now White will try for the extra point. He had 1 block after Kern's first touchdown of the game. Getting set to hold for him is Tom Campana, who's rubbing his hands to try to get his fingers warmed up. Now Calhoun signals they can start play. Here is the snap from center. A little bit off target, but he gets it down in time. White's kick is up. It is no good. It hit the crossbar, and there was, of course, a little bit of a mix-up in the timing because of the snap from center, which was off just a little bit to the holder's right. So the score remains Ohio State 15, Purdue nothing. For the kickoff by Stan White from the 40. They are leading 15-0, and so far they have been able to contain Mike Phipps perfectly. Here's the boot by White. It's a deep one. It carries into the end zone. Stan Brown catches the ball in the end zone. He elects not to try a run back. Kneels down for the touchback. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Boilermakers from their own 20. Mike Phipps has had 1 pass intercepted. And the Buckeyes went on after that interception to score. He has completed 4 out of 14 passes. Far below his usual percentage. He keeps his team out of the huddle. He has Ashley Bell split wide to the right side. The flanker, Brown, in here to the right. The handoff to Cooper. Cooper on a slide off his own left tackle. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards to make it second down and about 6 yards. Randy Cooper, who is normally the number 2 man in that I formation, has been the hardest work carrier in that Purdue attack this year. Lino, Iowa junior, 6 feet tall, 193. Here's a fix this time to Brown on a sweep, trying the left side. He's going to go nowhere. Great defensive play that time by Bill Strickland, who went diving past the blocker and pinned the ball carrier for a no gain. It'll be 3rd down and 6 from the 25-yard line. Now will Phipps go to the air. He has end split to the left side, and he has his flanker Brown to the right side. Phipps drops back to the 15, fires one over the middle, intercepted at the 30-yard line, down to the 25, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, sends the ball brought down to the 6-yard line, and Ohio State has picked off Mike Phipps' pass for the 2nd time today. It was Phipps who made the tackle at the 6-yard line.
He was throwing over the middle, and Sensabaugh cut directly in front of the intended receiver, made a perfect interception. And this junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, has put the Buckeyes in scoring position again with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half. From a tee. Kern takes notice. He's dragging the left side. He is hit at the 5. He drags along to about the 1-yard line. After he had been hit initially by Naylor, who could not hold on, Bill Yanchar, a senior tackle, came on and finally brought Kern down at the 1-yard line. He had sent Otis into the line with a perfect fake. And then on the keeper, rolled to the left side. The Purdue defense was just not able to contain him. It is second down, 1 yard away from a touchdown. Kern now has rushed for 52 yards, and the keeper, he's in for his second touchdown of the day. Rex Kern on the keeper. Makes the score, Ohio State 21 and Purdue nothing. With 13:44 left. And the 2 interceptions the Buckeyes have come up with have been extremely costly for Purdue. Mike Phipps bought it passing. Has been contained superbly so far. Stan White again will try it for the point after touchdown. He has missed 2. Here's this one. It is perfect. And the score becomes Ohio State 22, Purdue nothing. Well, we're seeing one of their finest collegiate football teams ever, in my opinion. It just kicked off a few minutes ago, and now here comes another one by Stan White. This is a low driving kick. It is picked up at the 15-yard line by Cooper. Cooper up to the 25. He is hit, and hit hard. As he tried to evade some tacklers, he could not get past particularly Mark DeVivick and Ted Provost, who was also in there. He gets the ball out to about the 29-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Purdue. And Phipps, who had come in here after hitting about 56% of his passes so far today, has hit on 4 out of 15 and had 2 intercepted. Sends the flanker Brown to the left side. The end is split to the right. Now Deuce backfield. Phipps dropping right back. Looks downfield. He's going to put it in the air again for Brown. He leaps high. He cannot quite make the catch at the 50-yard line. He had to throw that ball high because the tree, as they called him, Ted Provo, was covering Brown almost perfectly. And Stan Brown leaped as high as he could. He's 5'11". The ball was just off his fingers. He could not hold on to it. And while he's 5'11", Provo is 6'3". And he does an excellent job defensively. So it's 2nd and 10. The Buckeyes out of the Purdue out of the huddle. Benner split to the right side. Flanker to the left side. Phipps again going to put the ball in the air. Mike back at the 19, looks downfield, and he hits at the 42-yard line. Greg Benner, who is hit immediately by Mike Sensabaugh, the safety man, and by Tim Anderson. A completed forward pass, the 5th completion of the afternoon by Mike Phipps. That makes it 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of Ohio State, of Purdue rather, with the clock showing 3 minutes, 18 seconds left in the half. From the I formation, Benner split wide to the right side. Phipps dropping back, getting good protection, fires one again for Brown, and again! Stan Brown leaps at the 35-yard line, and the ball once more just off his fingertips. And again, Phipps knew he had to get that ball high in the air to get it over Ted Provo's arms, the defender. And Brown jumped just about as high as he possibly could, but still lacking just about 2 or 3 inches of height to make the catch. Now this is twice that Brown has run down the field about 10 or 15 yards and has cut inside. Now, of course, Provost will have to be careful of that fake cut inside and the sideline pass. Brown flanked to the left side. Mike Pulaski has come in, and Phil Strickland has gone out in this passing situation. The I formation Phipps. Back pedals, flag on the play. Fires one here to the safety valve man Cooper. He is hemmed in at the 40. Now he's giving ground back to the 35 and running to the left side. He cuts down to the 40, to the 45, to the 48-yard line. Now the flag has been back over in the far side of the field at the 41 or 42-yard line, and apparently it is against the Purdue Boilermakers. There's a man leaning on the line of scrimmage, Vince, and he could not get set in that three-point stance before the ball was snapped from center. It's going to be a walk-off against the Purdue Boilermakers. In the meantime, Northwestern in the first period has taken the lead over Indiana Hoosiers 7-0 in the first quarter. Minnesota and Michigan State are scoreless at the end of the half. Ohio State here leading Purdue 22-0. What many experts had thought would be the first test, the first real test of how good Woody Hayes' Buckeyes are this year. And if this is any kind of a test at all, they've got to be ranked with one of the all-time great collegiate teams because they have completely throttled Purdue so far. And particularly Mike Phipps. Phipps dropping back. And he fires again to the safety valve man, Randy Cooper, who's going to get a short gain up to about the 40-yard line. That ball had been back at the 37-yard line following that penalty. Jim Stillwagon and Phil Strickland in on that tackle. Stillwagon, who carries uniform number 68, is a 218-pound junior, strong, agile, good lateral movement. He's from Mount Vernon, Ohio. Strickland is a junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, 6'1", 210. It is 3rd and 13 at the 39-yard line of Purdue. And Brown, out of the huddle, is a flanker to the left side. Ashley Bell split out about 5 yards to the left side. Deuce backfield in there with Johnny Bullock, one of the backs, along with Cooper. Phipps drops back. He has time. He fires, and he's through the fingers of Johnny Bullock at the 39-yard line. Bullock was not a primary target for it, and I don't think Johnny Bullock ever in the world expected Phipps to throw that ball to him because it went right through his hands. Struck that about as well as you or I. Yeah, reminded me of Stonefingers, Rosenberg. That was thrown too perfectly for Bullock. Yeah. So it's a funny situation. And Lockheed comes in to put that ball in the air if he can for Purdue with 2:39 left to play. He gets the kick away from his own 30, high one into the wind. It bounces to the 40, going laterally, and skips out of bounds at the 36 or 37-yard line of Ohio State. And the Buckeyes, with 2:33 left to play in the first half, owning a 22-0 lead over the Boilermakers. And the ball. There was a 23-yard kick into the wind, which is about 15 or 20 miles per hour out of the southwest. Kern, the quarterback. Kern dropping back. He looks, he fires a pass to the right. It is complete down to the 46-yard line, and a very fine catch that time by Jan White, the tight end from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who was brought down by Tim Foley. They have moved the ball extremely well on the ground, and now in the air, he has completed 3 out of 6. And off to Otis, and the big fullback drives hard off his own left guard and tackle, gets some good blocking from a couple of men up front, and he puts that ball up near the 50-yard line. Ron Marie in that tackle. And doing some good blocking there was Alan Jack, co-captain, a senior from Wintersville, and also Chuck Hutchinson, senior from Carrollton. Kern rolling the left side. Now reverses the field, goes to the right, fires, and it is complete to Dan White, and White is down immediately on a very hard tackle. A flag has been dropped, and I think that there's going to be a rushing or a penalty against Purdue for roughing the passer, and it was Billy McCoy, the defensive left end, who got to Kern after he had thrown that ball and was detected by the official. And rather than take that completed pass up to about the 41-yard line, that roughing the passer penalty, which is a stiff one, as it well should be, is being discussed down here. And I see Calhoun over there talking to Coach Mollenkopf. Now, I don't know whether he... Mollenkopf, I think, probably questioning the call on it. I don't know whether he has put the youngster out of this game or not, but he has not. He's just merely checking the lines as to where the penalty should be started. And he's starting it from the completion.
Oh, boy.
Of the pass.
Oh, boy.
Which means he'll get in deep into Purdue territory at the 36-yard line.
Well, where it had been completed was very near what had been the original line of scrimmage. And that's where he starts that walk-off. That brings it down to the 36-yard line, a 15-yard walk-off. There's also somebody down there that grabbed the face mask on that same play. But in any event, it's a 15-yard walk-off to give Ohio State the ball, 1st and 10 at the Purdue 36-yard line.
late in the first quarter with a minute 40, or in the first half rather. Kern drops back. He has a rush put on him. He is tackled and he is thrown for a tremendous loss. It is at the 40-yard line of Ohio State, and what a rush that time put on by Willie Nelson, among others. Billy McCoy. Also in there was Jim Teal, sophomore from Southbury, and the Purdue defense that time really poured in on him. He had just no opportunity whatsoever to get rid of that ball. He had to eat it. A big, big loss back to the 40, makes it 2nd and 35. To the right side goes Jankowski. Slot man to the right. Kern drops back. He's going to put it in the air. Fires a short one at the 40. It's complete to Otis. Otis to the 45 to 50. No, Galena. Galena to the 45 of Purdue to the 40. And he is run out of bounds at about the 38-yard line by Steve DeGrand Mason. He's back in that ball game. Let me tell you, he was the wind was knocked out of him early in the first period, and he had to be carried, literally carried off of this field in the second period about 6 minutes ago. And here's this youngster back in his position as a corner linebacker and perhaps a safety, and doing a very fine job. Don Webster, the Cobra as they called him at Purdue, comes in defensively, replacing Dave Beek. It is now 3rd and 13. You remember they had 35 yards to go on the previous play. Kern is dropping back. He is looking downfield. He puts that ball deep in the air down at the 5-yard line. Touchdown for Ohio State. Kern had a big rush put on him that time by Bill Yanchar. But he gets up and he is coming off the field. The pass is complete to Bruce Jankowski, who got behind that Purdue defense at the 5-yard line. Took that tremendous long pass in full stride. Looked over his left shoulder. Cradled that ball inside the 5-yard line. And in 2 bounds was in the end zone on a 38-yard touchdown pass. Rex Kern to Bruce Jankowski. His 5th touchdown of the year. 28-0. The try for point. Stan White's kick is up in the air. It is no good. Off to the side. And the score remains with 52 seconds left to play in the first half. Ohio State 28 and the Purdue Boilermakers nothing. And Lou, it is hard to believe that Purdue can be so devastated as they have been here by Rex Kern and the Buckeyes, both on offense and defense. I just don't know what's going to happen in the second half, Vince. But definitely it's been Kern's football game in this first half. He has run this Ohio State team marvelously. Performance, I would say, the greatest that I have seen in one half by any one single individual, and especially by one quarterback, Rex Kern. He has run this team beautifully. He has run beautifully, passed beautifully, and let me tell you, he was prostrate on the ground when that pass was completed. Isn't something here, Stan White. Kickoff again, Stan Brown at the 2-yard line, comes upfield to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, breaks the tackle at the 25, he's in the open. Stan Brown could go all the way. He's the 40, to the 30, the 20, the 10. He is in for a Purdue touchdown of 98 or 99 yards. Stan Brown broke the tackle back at that 25-yard line as he broke straight up the field. After breaking that tackle, he cut to the right side. There were 2 Ohio State Buckeyes in pursuit. Neither could gain a step on him, and Stan Brown has put the Boilermakers on the board with an electrifying return of a kickoff with 39 seconds remaining to play in the first half. Well, this certainly should help the Boilermakers tremendously, Vince. If they needed something here in the first half to talk about between halves to bring them back, I'm quite sure that Jack Mollenkopf and his coaching staff will certainly talk about that return. One of the finest returns that we've seen this year. And let me tell you, that youngster just ran the last 30 yards on his own intestinal fortitude because he had 2 or 3 big red-shirted Buckeyes trailing him. And they trailed him all the way. All the way. The tackle that he broke back earlier at about the 25 was against Ken Luckner, defensive left end, a sophomore from Medina, Ohio. And when he broke that tackle and he broke sharply to his right side, he suddenly saw all that green daylight in front of him, and he took off. So the Buckeyes have gotten on the board, and that may give them a tremendous lift here in the closing seconds of this first half. They will now track with a point-after touchdown, and the fella who has set all kinds of records, Jeff Jones, comes in. Keeper, the ball put down by Keeper. The kick is good by Jeff Jones to make it 28-7. And this young man now, who has kicked 40 consecutive points after touchdown, this season and has 45 consecutive perfect kicks. Counting last season in this one, has made the score 28-7. Short, picked up by Gillian at the 28-yard line. He gets a short advance across the 30 and is brought down at about the 31-yard line by Arnold Carter, sophomore from Case, South Carolina. Buckeyes, 1st and 10. Well, we've had 2 touchdowns here in the final 2 minutes of this quarter already. There are 36 seconds left to play. Time for at least one more. Yes. And this Kern won't stop. He wants a score. Purdue has gotten on the board. Kern runs back. He's going to fire a pass. It is downfield. It is intercepted by Mayhew at the 42-yard line of Purdue to the 450, the 40 of Ohio. He is bumped out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Rich Bayhurst from Midland, Pennsylvania, picks up Rex Kern's pass, and Purdue has excellent field position. What? Do they have enough time to get on the board again? They are at the 34-yard line of Ohio State, a Woody Hayes team, putting the ball in the air with 26 seconds left to play in the half, and they own a 28-7 lead. Remember the time when if a quarterback had done that, he'd have been out of school in 30 seconds. But it's a different Buckeye team. Phipps drops back. Mike has time. He fires. He hits his man at the 20-yard line. He is down immediately, and Purdue calls timeout to stop the clock with 17 seconds left. Greg Fenner, the junior from Evansville, Indiana, leaped and hauled in that perfectly thrown pitch from Mike Phipps, and the Purdue Boilermakers have the ball just inside the Buckeye 20-yard line. And Phipps is going over to the sidelines to talk with Jack Bollenkoff and his coaching staff. Only 17 seconds left to play in a tremendous football game here in Columbus. Purdue now in the scoring position, and the Ohio State Buckeye defense now in the vulnerable position. They're really going to have to put the rush on Phipps. The ball is just inches inside Ohio State's 20-yard line. There's 17 seconds left to play. This is their deepest penetration outside, of course, of that sensational kickoff return for a touchdown by Stan Brown, who's a junior from Richmond, California. He had a very long touchdown return against Iowa of 88 yards earlier this year on a kickoff. So running kickoffs back for touchdowns from way, way back is nothing new for this speedster from Richmond, California, Stan Brown, 5'11", 177. And Brown is flanked to the left side. To the right side is the split in. Greg Fenner at the close side of the field. In the backfield with Phipps is Bullock. Here's the pass as the rush is put on. It is out of the arms of Buckeyes Ted Provo, who jumped in front of Stan Brown that time, and Provo almost had himself an interception. The ball seemed to go through his hands and bounce off his shoulder pads and fell incomplete. 11 seconds left, boy. Now, Purdue, of course, could try one more play for the touchdown, or they could play for the field goal. They would have
into the wind on the field goal, which would have to carry about. Well, they're going to go for one more play anyway, so let's not even talk about that one. Phipps has 2 men behind him in that backfield, and he has his end split to the left side, but Brown on the right side this time. He is looking for Brown. He puts that ball in the air. Brown leaps and is intercepted by Cristobal, the end zone. Touchback for Ohio State, and a very, very dejected, I'm sorry to start Brown, Ashley Bell was a fellow who could not get his hands on that ball, prevent the interception. That is the 3rd Buckeye interception of this football game, and the 2nd one by Sensabaugh. So, with 4 seconds left in the half, the Buckeyes have the ball. Let's see if Kern is going to pass again. 1st and 10 at his own 20, straight T formation. He just dives right down to the ground after getting the snap from center. And there is the end of the first half. Both of these Big Ten teams leave this field here with the snow flurries in the air and the score. Ohio State 28, Purdue 7. Kickoff for the Buckeyes, our second half beginning underway in a moment as he started up to that to approach the football. The wind which is picked up a little bit, still out of the southwest, and I imagine now a good 20 miles per hour, moved the ball off the tee. Referee Calhoun, signals are ready to go. Stan White comes forward, and here's the kick. It's a line drive shot. Brown picks it up at the 4-yard line. He's up to the 15, the 20. Brown to the 25, and this time he is spilled by Ohio State at about the 27 or 28-yard line by the kicker, Stan White from Kent, Ohio. Stan was an outstanding athlete at Kent, Ohio. He was all Ohio, not only in football, but in basketball and baseball. An excellent athlete. Sense of awe as the deep man's a safety for Ohio State. Purdue trying to get back in, sends Fenner split to the right side, and Brown flanked wide to the left, with Cooper in the wingback position over to the right side. Phipps is dropping back. He's going to put the ball in the air right away, and it is incomplete and almost intercepted. He intended it that time for Fenner, and there were two men, including Phil Strickland in there on him, and Strickland just barely missed an interception. So Phipps now is 7 for 24. Second and 10 at the 27-yard line. Brown wide to the left side as they come out of the huddle, and Fenner split to the right. Pulaski's come in a fast defensive situation. Strickland out here. The handoff and a drop play. Busting up through that right side to the 30 to the 35-yard line is Randy Cooper on the draw. It's only the second time that Purdue has tried the draw play today. The first time it did not work. But this time, Rex Cooper picks up pretty good yardage. 8 yards before he's brought down by the junior defensive end, Mark Bevick, and the junior defensive halfback, Tim Anderson. Third down. And about a yard or two. And a spill right back at the 35-yard line by cornerback Jack Tatum. As Cooper, carrying again, gets to about the line of scrimmage. And that appears to be all. Lockheed is coming in off the far side, replacing Mike Phipps. As it's a punting situation, he was actually dropped for about a yard loss. Deep for Ohio State is Larry Zelina. He's standing at about his 28-yard line. Lockheed gets the kick away into the wind at a pretty good boot. Zelina has that ball dropped in front of him, but a fair catch called for by Ted Froebel at the 37-yard line of Ohio State. First and 10 for the Buckeyes, who lead 28-7. They scored 1 touchdown in the first quarter and 3 in the second. Wisconsin has taken a 14-7 lead now over Illinois in the second quarter. Michigan leads Iowa 14-0 in the second. Kern fakes to Otis, pitches out to Hayden, drives around right in, gets a good block. He's to the 50, he's to the 40. He's running down the right sideline, and nobody can get to him. Mayhem comes up from behind and makes the tackle from behind at the 5-yard line. And a great block for Hayden. Sprung him loose on that pitch out. Guards pulling out that time. Really clearing the path. They took out that defensive man, and finally it was Rich Mayherd coming up from behind who pulled him down. Donovan and Backus pulling guards and really pulled him down. It is first and goal from the 4, and off he is in. Stan Brown explodes. Bill Hayden explodes in there for a touchdown for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes have extended their lead to 34-7. Leo Hayden going in from the 4-yard line. And he was still on his feet in the end zone. Stan White will again try for the point after touchdown. Kick, of course, will come from the 10. Here's the snap, and White's kick is perfect. And with only a minute and 52 seconds having gone by in the second half, it is the Buckeyes 35 and Purdue 7. Leo Hayden, having a tremendous day, junior from Dayton, has carried 11 times for the Buckeyes and has 121 yards. Stan White getting set to boot. Brown deep for the Boilermakers. Here's the kick. Brown poised at the
goal line as he takes it, starts up to the 10. Veers to the right, slips and falls at the 15-yard line. He wanted to cut very sharply to the right side as Mark DeBevick came up to meet him. Lost his footing, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Boilermakers at their own 15-yard line. Stan Brown returned to kickoff, 98 yards for Purdue. In the last 2 minutes of this first half to put them on the board. Mike Phipps. They're going very, very tough for Purdue's passing attack today. He hands off on a running play. The second man in the I formation, Randy Cooper, tries to drive over his own left tackle, and he runs into Jim Stillwagon and Paul Smidlin. Picked up short yardage on the play. 2 yards, second down and 8. Ball at the 18-yard line. Benner wide to the left side. Brown comes out of the flanker to the right side. The end is in tight in the right. I formation in the backfield. Big handoff. Phipps rolls out to his right side. Starts upfield. Up from the side. Gets to the 20-yard line, and that's about as far as he's going to go. Bill Urbanek, the defensive end from Denora, Pennsylvania, 230 pounds. Knocked him to the turf here as snow flurries get a little bit heavier. Phipps does not like to roll out and pass. He is normally far more accurate when he drops back. Pulaski comes in, Strickland goes out, and the defensive setup for Ohio State. Wide to the right is Fenner this time, and Cooper comes up as a slot man to the right. Phipps this time drops straight back to the 10, looks downfield, hits Cooper at the 20, makes a diving catch right at the 20-yard line, had to come back for that ball. As the primary receiver, appeared to be Greg Fenner, was well covered. Ball at the 20-yard line. It is 4th down and 6. And Purdue is going to have to punt. It is Larry Zelina anticipating the kick to his back as a single safety for Ohio State at his 45-yard line. Lockheed in the punt, standing at the 5. He also has Tim Anderson up there. For Ohio State, Zelina getting under the ball, makes the grab at the 43 to the 45, cuts to the right to the 50, gets past the man at the 40. Zelina is going to go all the way. Touchdown for Larry Zelina. He gathered that in at the 40-yard line right near the hash mark on this left side of the field. Ohio State did not put pressure on Monkey. They came back for the run back and did an excellent job clearing a path for Zelina, who returned that kick 57 yards to make the score 41-7. Boy, an awesome display here today by Ohio State. Stan White will try the point after. It is good. That makes it 42-7. Stan White, whose right leg may become weary before the afternoon is over, puts this one in the air. Taken at the goal line by Brown to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Runs into half a dozen Ohio State tacklers, including Mark DeBevick. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the beleaguered Boilermakers of Purdue, who came in here hoping to play a spoilers role this afternoon, as Purdue teams have done so often in the past. But things have just not been going their way. They have not been able to handle this Buckeye team of Woody Hayes this afternoon. They have been absolutely outstanding in every phase of football here today. And of course, this tremendous turnout, this open horseshoe stadium, primarily a partisan Ohio State crowd, just perfectly delighted with what they have seen. This, if there is such a thing as a perfect football team in college today, comes about as close to it as you could possibly hope for. Purdue, Mike Phipps on the draw again, gives to Cooper. Cooper moves to the left side, thought he saw a little daylight over there, and he is brought down at the 25-yard line by Doug Adams, 214-pound junior. Wisconsin has picked up another touchdown to lead the Illini 21-7 in the second quarter. Michigan State and Minnesota scoreless at the half. Indiana and Northwestern tied 14-14 in the second quarter. Michigan leads Iowa 14-0 in the second quarter. Provo moves out wide to the right side, takes the split into Purdue. Cooper comes into a slot formation over to the right side. As Phipps now takes a step, drops back, gets a rush, throws, incomplete. Just out of the grasp of Arnold Carter, who has come into that backfield. credit that fast rush in hurrying Phipps's throw because the man was open. Carter was wide open, but Phipps had to hurry his throw and consequently threw the ball about 5 yards away from Carter.
Bill Strickland, 210-pound junior, put a tremendous rush that time on Phipps. He comes out of there now in this passing situation, Strickland does. And Webster goes, or Pulaski rather, comes in to replace him. Pulaski is also a shortstop in the baseball team. Led the ball club in stolen bases.
Most shortstops do. They can run.
3rd and 7. Phipps drops straight back. Fires a short pass to the 38, is complete. He hurdles one man, tries to get past the 35, and Ashley Bell is brought down after vaulting over one man. Mike Sensabaugh and Mike Pulaski, however, come in and bring Ashley Bell down. But a good game for Purdue. Ashley Bell has been their top receiver this year. He's 6'4", a sophomore from Rumson, New Jersey. He had 39 catches for the season coming into this contest today. It is 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. To the right side comes Fenner. On the keeper, Phipps has 2 men charge in too soon on Ohio State's defense. Busted play. Phipps saw a little daylight and he thought he'd better take off. He did. He may have picked up more than the 5-yard penalty might have given him. As he gets up to the 45-yard line,
I think it was an off-count snap by the center, but there was no penalty flags thrown. So it's a play. But 7 of Purdue's linemen were standing up straight when the ball was
there,
snapped.
and the 2 backfield men never moved either. Only Kurd. It is 2nd and 1, a pickup of 9. Phipps turns, he hands off to Cooper, breaks a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and advances the ball up to about the 48-yard line. He broke loose from Paul Smidland, but then was brought down by Mark DeBevick and by Doug Adams. It is 1st and 10. Randy Cooper from Lima, Ohio, a junior. Picking up the first down yardage, and Purdue has the ball at the Boilermakers' 48-yard line, 1st and 10. To the left side, the open side of the field, goes Bell. In the slot goes Carter on the left side, and he has Fenner to the right. Now Cooper comes into the right side. Flag goes down as there was illegal procedure in the backfield. The pass thrown intended for Carter incomplete. Cooper that time moved up to that slot formation on the right side just prior to the snap from center, and he never set for the 1 full count required. So it could be a 5-yard walk-off against Purdue if Ohio State elects to take the penalty. And referee Calhoun discussing it now with Ohio State. 42-7 Ohio. Penalty is declined. They'll take the down. Carter goes out and Stan Brown comes in as a flanker back for Jack Mollenkoff's Boilermakers. Ohio State's defense coordinated by Coach Lou McCullum. The line coach, Dave McClain, and the backfield coach, Dick Walker, in defense. Boy, what a job they've done here for Woody Hayes. Cooper now into the wingback on the right side. And a handoff to the only man left in that backfield, Johnny Bullock on a slant to the outside. Bullock across the 50, down to the Ohio State 45-yard line. He is brought down. From Newport News, Virginia, Jack Tatum, the roverback, making the tackle on him. Bullock was injured this year for Ohio State. Scott Clayton was taking his place in that backfield much of the time. Bullock 5'11", 209 pounds.
So Purdue with 2nd and 3 at the 45 of Ohio State comes up the line of scrimmage. The ends are in tight. Nobody spread out. T formation. Pitch to Brown. He's hit and driven hard. Oh, man. What a tremendous tackle that time by Jim Skillwagon, who came up there like a bullet. He hit Brown as he took one step after getting that pitch out and drove him deep to the turf, and man, he's got to have some bruises and some aches and pains for several days after that one. Oh, that looked like a Dick Butkus tackle, didn't it? Oh, man, he really hit him. 4th and 5 at the 46. They're going to have to punt the snap. Lockheed gets the boot away from his own 45. Sensabaugh, single safety, sees the ball bounce, and it goes out of bounds. Or Salina, rather. It goes out of bounds at about the 12-yard line of Ohio State, where the Buckeyes will put it in play. 1st and 10, a 42-yard kick by Scott Lockheed. You can ask him if he can get his hands on that football. All right, time is in. And Rex Stearns still doing the quarterbacking. Takes the handoff to one man, gives to Zelina, tries to dive through the right side.
He was running very, very low to the ground, and Selena got the ball up to about the 15. Matter of fact, his knee touched at the 14-yard line. A very short game, so it'll be second down and 9. The paid attendance has been announced here today. 85,027 in the cold and the snow flurries. And in 5 games at Ohio State now, they've established a new attendance record this year. They've drawn more than 431,000 here, 5 games this year. Kern rolls out to the left side, looks downfield, fires a pass. It is batted out, almost intercepted by Rich Mayherd, who had a perfect interception opportunity. And Kern was hit down that time by Ron Marie. And Kern is getting up very slowly and painfully when he fired that ball from the 10-yard line. He intended that pass for Jankowski. Dave Cheney, offensive tackle, and looked to the sidelines and waved relief man away, indicating that Kern was all right after being put down pretty hard. Lining up behind him in the I formation, Otis, number 1 running back, and Hayden behind him. Kern gives to Gillian, slants to the right side, and Gillian is across the 15 to perhaps the 18-yard line. There he is brought down as he sent Otis into the line without the ball that time, and Gillian moving to the opposite side to the right. Coming in defensively is Tom Bayless for Purdue, and going out for them is Don Webster. It is 4th and 3. Back to punt is Alina. Rush put on, but he gets the kick away. It bounces at the 47-yard line of Purdue. They're going to let it roll dead, and it takes a dead hop that time. Finally, he comes to rest at the 46-yard line where Dave Cheney downs it for the Buckeyes. Well, Purdue has good field position. They have had it before, but they have not been able to capitalize on it.
They wound up at the last half, down at the 20-yard line with 11 seconds left to play. First down situation. Phipps put the ball in the air, and it was intercepted by Sensabaugh, and that was virtually the end of the half. Officials have taken a timeout here now with the clock showing 6 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Ball at the 46-yard line and for Purdue, and the Buckeyes leading 42-7.
Well, I would have to say, Vince, if Purdue wants to get back into this football game, Phipps is going to have to go to the air. He's gone to the air a number of times today. In the second half, he's run several times, much more than when he started this football game out. But right now, trailing 42-7, he has to get on that scoreboard. So I will say that he would have to try to go to passing practically on every down. And of course, this opens up the football game for this fine defensive crew of Ohio State.
Phipps drops back. From his 37, he fires a pass too low, intended for Stan Brown over at the 45-yard line of Ohio State. He was well covered by Jack Tatum. 2nd and 10. Indiana has taken the lead now over Northwestern. In the second quarter, Hoosiers 21, Northwestern 14. And Wisconsin leading Illinois 21-7 in the second quarter. Minnesota and Michigan State are scoreless at the end of the half. Michigan leads Iowa 14-0 in the second quarter. And Dartmouth has beaten Cornell today 24-7. 2nd and 10 from the 46. Phipps drops back, looks. Flag on the play. There's 2 or 3 of them. He fires finally after getting a big rush put on him. He intended the pass for Greg Fenner. Paul Spidlin was leading that defensive surge as Ohio State put on a tremendous rush that time. Illegal procedure penalty indicated against the Boilermakers. But the pass incomplete. They will decline the penalty. And it will be 3rd and 10 from the 46. Now Phipps has put the ball in the air 29 times. He has completed 9 passes. In this second half, Phipps has completed 2 out of 6 attempts, which is better than he did in the first half. I formation. Brown flanked wide to left side. Leonard coming over, split into the right, Cooper into the slot. And on the draw play, it is going to go nowhere. He gives to Johnny Bullock, the only man in the backfield with him, and Bullock is hit right at the line of scrimmage. For virtually no gain with Doug Adams and Stillwagon in on the tackle. So it's 4th and 10, and the Boilermakers find that the Buckeyes are immovable. Blackwood back to punt again. Or Lockheed, rather. Zelina back as a single safety at his own 20. Here's Lockheed's foot, and it's a pretty good one into this wind, which holds it up. It bounces at 24, down to the 20, taking a Purdue bounce to the 15, comes to rest finally at the 14-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes.
Very fine punt against that strong wind. And, of course, Lockheed has punted 6 times today. It just means that the Boilermakers offense just cannot get rolling against this fine defensive unit of Ohio State.
Here they come out of that huddle. Boy, they have been an awesome team here today. I formation behind Rex Kern. He hands off to Otis, the first man of that I formation, and Otis is hit immediately there by Ron Marie. And also coming in on that tackle was Jim Teal. No gain. Matter of fact, Otis may have lost just a little bit that time, but he has set a new rushing record here at Ohio State, eliminating or rubbing out Avalon Cassidy's old mark. We'll call it 2nd and 10 from about the 14. I formation again for Ohio. And Kern drops back, looks from the 5, fires a pass. It is complete. No! Let's see, I think it's going to be ruled incomplete. It was in the hands temporarily of Jan White, who was hit by a couple of the Purdue Boilermakers, including Pino Parascovitz and Steve DeGrand Mason, and they jostled that ball out of his arms, and it's ruled that he did not have possession. So an incomplete forward pass makes it 3rd and 10.
That position, Kern doesn't hesitate in throwing it. No, sir. That was 2nd down and 10 and on his own 14-yard line.
Got a lot of faith in his teammates, and they have a lot of faith in him. He's a very well-liked young man. He drops back again. He looks. Now he's going to run. He's to the 10, the 15, the 20, 25, the 30. Puts his head down, bowls past one man, and he's run that ball out to the 35-yard line. And what amazing reactions Kern showed that time as he looked downfield from inside his 5. He saw his receivers covered, and he also saw daylight right up the middle, and he just exploded all the way out to the 35-yard line. Steve DeGrand Mason finally brought him down. And he has been laid out for the 3rd time today. And once more, the Purdue trainer coming out to administer to DeGrand Mason. Michigan rolling over Iowa at the end of the half. Michigan 31, Iowa nothing. They just make that announcement here to the fans at Columbus, Ohio. Indiana at the end of the half leads Northwestern 21-14. 85,027 here at Columbus this afternoon. And a new attendance record has been set by this #1 ranked team in the nation. In 5 home dates, 431,175 have witnessed their performances, which have truly, truly been outstanding. They started out defeating TCU 62-0, and they've been rolling ever since. Next week, we'll be covering the Buckeyes at Michigan at Ann Arbor. Flag on this play, and a handoff to the 2nd man of that I formation. Comes over the right side, and Jim Otis picks up about 2 or 3 yards. But there is illegal procedure indicated against the Buckeyes. Play is started from the 35-yard line, and he picked up about 3, so they'll take the penalty. A 5-yard walk-off will move it back to the Ohio State 30-yard line. Zelina comes in, Gillian goes out, Woody Hayes sending in a play from the bench. He also has Leo Hayden, who has been a truly outstanding man here offensively. Webster comes in anticipating a pass in that defense. He's from Chicago's Brother Rice High School. Kern on a bootleg, rolling to the left side. Big pursuit, cuts downfield to the 25, sticks out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. With good pursuit that time put out by Jim Field, the sophomore back from Salisbury, North Carolina. Well, at the 29-yard line. There'll be 2nd and 16 for Ohio State. Our broadcast and our game of the week next Saturday from Ann Arbor. Wolverines at the Buckeyes in the battle for the Rose Bowl for Michigan. Starting time, 11:55. Hope you'll be with us. I formation, 2nd and 16 at the 29. Kern drops straight back. He has a rush put on, and he's brought down. No, he slips away. Now he's dragged down to the 24-yard line. Bill Yanchar making the tackle, and the first man through was Don Webster, who blitzed. And for all the world, Lou, I thought he had him back there at about the 15-yard line. I don't know how in the world he ever got away from Webster.
That Kern went through that arm tackle, and it wasn't actually an arm tackle because Webster had him and was ready to throw him to the ground.
All of a sudden, he wound up just with nothing, like he grabbed the balloon and suddenly the air had gone out of it. So, 3rd and 16, and he is back in punt formation. And Zelina kicks from the 20-yard line on 3rd down. The ball bounces at the 30, down to the 25, to the 20, to the 15. And Ohio State bounce gets the ball all the way down to the 12-yard line of Purdue. Boy,
I think Hayes caught the Boilermakers without Brown in the lineup.
That's right.
And without their punt return man, Foley, and actually McDaniel was back and had to let the football roll. And it took an Ohio State bounce.
A 59-yard kick with the roll. Well, Purdue finds themselves deep in the hole at their own 12-yard line. Mike Phipps brings his team up to the line of scrimmage. It's been a tough, long afternoon for Phipps and Purdue so far today. He retreats, drops straight back, fires downfield. It is incomplete. Right through the arms of Greg Fenner, who's up to about the 30-yard line, but pretty well covered by Tatum and by Sensabaugh. Western Michigan leads Northern Illinois at the end of the quarter. Western Michigan 21 and Northern Illinois nothing. Mississippi, boy, this is just incomprehensible. Mississippi belting the daylights out of Tennessee, unbeaten this year going into that game. Mississippi 24, Tennessee nothing at the end of the half. Can't believe it. Here, 42-7, Ohio State. And Bullock on the draw, but backfires. He is not able to get past the line of scrimmage. Jim Stillwagon and Paul Smidland are there and bring him down for no gain.
I would have to say that after this game is over, if you interviewed any one of the Boilermakers, they would say that Ohio State had 14 to 16 men on that field defensively. They've been all over that field
quick
today. Very quick.
Boy. So it's 3rd and 10, and Phipps is forced to pass, apparently. He has out wide to the right side, Fenner. Flanker wide to the left side. Mike Phipps drops straight back to the 2-yard line. Looks, fires a long, long bomb up to that 45-yard line of Purdue. Intercepted by Provo, and he makes no return. His momentum carried him to his own 40-yard line. He wheeled to his right, started to cut upfield, and Stan Brown and Ashley Bell were there to bring him down, and that is the 4th Ohio State interception today. Ted Provo, the tree, getting in front there and making that interception as Mike Phipps went for the loss. And he has had 4 of his passes picked off this afternoon on what for Phipps is turning out to be a most unsuccessful, unfortunate afternoon. 1st and 10 from the 43 for Ohio State. Rex Kern with an I formation there. Takes the handoff. Now he pitches out to Zelina, tries to cut around his own right hand, and he is bumped out of bounds at the 45-yard line by Tim Foley, senior from Loyola High in Wilmette. Theo Hayden has had great success running that sweep around the right side in the pitch out today, but Zelina was brought down, bumped out of bounds on that one after a short gain, 2nd and 9. Now Kern hands off this time on a trap play right up the center, and it's Hayden who advances the ball right near the 50-yard line. Hayden picking up about 5 yards on that play, and he now, I believe, has carried a dozen times and has 126 yards. Dave reels back. Ohio State checking our figures on that one. As he said, that's right, Dave. Thank you. It is 3rd and 3 from the 49 of Ohio State. Looked like a Purdue man jumped outside. Apparently not. No flag down. Hayden trying to get wide around that closed side of the field, is bumped out of bounds in Purdue territory, and apparently at about the 48-yard line, right near Coach Jack Mollenkopf, the Boilermaker. Into that tackle, Jim Teal. They didn't make it, and they're going to go for it. It's 4th down and about a yard. They're going to try to retain possession. And off to Otis, the big fella's got 1st down yardage and then some. He drove to the outside off his own right tackle. Was hit at the 45, finally wound up being brought down at about the 42-yard line, and Ohio State retains possession, 1st and 10. Mike McDaniel making that tackle. 1:35 showing on the clock. They line up quickly. Kern hands off. Gillian drives straight ahead over his own right tackle, and Gillian advances about 5 or 6 yards. He puts it down to the 35-yard line. Dave beat from Warsaw, Indiana, into the tackle. His knee, however, touched back at about the 37-yard line. That's where they put the ball down. They're lining up quickly, not waiting for anybody to come in from Woody Hayes. Kern drops back. It's fast. Batted down. Behind the line of scrimmage, it is caught by a Purdue man, and it's going to wind up as Purdue's ball. The first fella, I believe, who hit it was Yanchar, and Dave beat Kern's pass. Winds up intercepted, hit by Yanchar, the defensive tackle, and his teammate Dave Beat grabbing it before it hit the ground. Purdue has the football. They are going into the wind, but there's only a minute 8 seconds left in this third quarter. Brown flanks wide to the right side. He has Bullock in that I formation as the number 1 man, and behind him is Cooper. He rolls out to the left side, looks, wants to fire. He does. He throws it. Provost intercepts the 23. Sam Brown tries to bring it down, and he gets some help from Ashley Bell. And Provo has another interception. Now this is a very tough pass to throw because Pitt throws to his left. Now he fired deep and diagonally to the opposite side, this west side of the field, and Provo, the free, was there to grab it. Well, it only took me about 3 quarters to figure out that Provo is following Brown all over that field, and Tatum is on the sophomore Ashley Bell, regardless of what side of that diamond they line up on. Another interception. This, in all likelihood, will be Mike Phipps' worst day as a passer for Purdue. Fake to Otis, pitch out to Hayes. Tries to turn the right side over there, and he's bumped out of bounds by Tim Foley, who came up and made a very fine play. He advanced the ball perhaps a couple of yards to the 30-yard line, where it'll be second down and 8. Billy McCoy also in that tackle, along with Foley. Second down and 8 from the 30. Wisconsin out in front of Illinois at halftime. Badgers 24, the Illini 7. From the eye, take the 1 man. And he gives to Salina. Salina on the crisscross over his own right tackle up to the 40. Beautiful play that time. Well executed as he gave to Otis and sending Otis to the left side, drawing the defense over and then giving the ball to Salina, who went to the right side. The Purdue defense giving ground. It's first and 10. Kern drops back, fires a short pass to the 45, taking on the run. At the 50, to the 45, to the 40, Bruce Jankowski is knocked out of bounds at about the 37-yard line by Mike McDaniel. Jankowski has been one of the favorite targets for Kern this year. He was on the move, out in the flat, when he took that pass over the shoulder, and this junior from Fair Lawn, New Jersey. 192-pounder makes it first and 10 at the 37-yard line. Purdue, a demoralized ball club at this stage. Kern from the I formation. On the keeper, drives straight ahead, gets a little running room, and he advances the ball to about the 32 or 33-yard line. In the middle of that Purdue line, including the center, Tom DeLone, moves the Boilermakers back. Second and 5, the clock is running, showing 7 seconds left in this quarter. Let's see if they get another play off before time expires. They come up to the line of scrimmage, and there is the end of the third quarter. With the score, Ohio State 42, Purdue 7. Rex Kern is being taken out by Woody Hayes, and he's going to his number 2 quarterback, Ron Masajowski. Kern passing today, 6 for 13, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Rushing, Kern 18 carries, 46 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He gets a well-deserved rest. Well, we knew that Ohio State was a great football club, and there was a lot of doubt in our minds whether or not Purdue could give them a good test here today, but the Buckeyes are even far, far better in every phase of the game than I expected them to be today. They've just been superb. Yes, I thought perhaps
Break in the end formation with the ends in tight again. Masachowski drops back, looks downfield, a rush put out. He squirms loose from the man. Look. Just as he is hit for the second time, and bringing him down was John Handy. He had gotten away from the first man through with a great move, but Handy hit him just as he was going to fire the ball. It wound up in a wobbly, incomplete pass, and that Buckeye threat has been stopped. Back here at Columbus, and the beleaguered Buckeyes, or Boilermakers, from deep in their own territory, send Johnny Bullock into the line. He's brought down at the 8-yard line. It is going to be no gain. Actually, they put it at the 9. It'll be second down and still 10 yards to go. In the final 5 minutes of this football game, and quite a snowstorm here now. Phipps drops back to the goal line. Looks to the right, fires. He hits his man at the 18. Tries to sidestep one man. Carter's got the ball. He does get past one up to the 21-yard line where he's brought down. Arnold Carter, a sophomore. Hauling in that one from Mike Phipps. It's 1st and 10 at the 22. Wisconsin now has taken a 31-14 lead over Illinois in the third quarter. A final Brown defeated Harvard 24-17. And Penn State crushed Maryland 48-0. Carter flanked wide to the left side. Phipps has him up the line of scrimmage. He retreats to the 11. He fires. It is complete at the 24-yard line to Ashley Bell. It was driven back by Don Latka. Sophomore has come in defensively to get some experience. His forward progress, of course, was up where he made the catch in that ball at the 24-yard line. And it's going to be second down and about 8. 2-yard gain. Clock is running, showing 3 minutes, 45 seconds left to play. Carter flanked wide to the left again. The only touchdown for Purdue, a 98-yard kickoff return by Stan Brown, who is not in there now. Phipps fires another pass to Carter at the 35, gets past Preble up to the 40 to the 45-yard line. He is brought down. He did do a little sidestep dance to evade Ted Preble, but he couldn't get past Mike Radke, a senior from Wayne, New Jersey. There are about 11 seniors on the defensive squad for Ohio State, but only 5 of them are listed as starters. And only about 4 seniors listed as starters on the offense here at Ohio State. Phipps drops back. He's left. On the run, he fires a screen pass, but it is over the head of Cooper, the intended receiver. It goes into the Buckeye squad, just standing here on the west sideline. He had the screen out there, but I don't think he ever had a chance to really see Cooper, Lou. No, Phipps could not see Cooper because of the onrushing blitz put on by this defensive line and linebackers of Ohio State. They blitz not only from the linebackers position, but they blitz from the outside as well. They're very fast.
He also has Ashley Bell split to the right side and Fenner to the left. Mike drops back from the 35, fires. It is picked up by Bullock at the 45. Johnny Bullock to the 50, breaks the tackle down there, and he cuts to the left side. He's down to the 30, down to the 20, down to the 10. He is hit from behind and brought down at the 6-yard line of Ohio State by Mike Pulaski and by Ken Lettner. Boy, that was a beautiful run there, Lou, by Bullock.
That's the best run we've seen since the kickoff return by Brown. And Brown has not seen much action, Vince, here in the fourth quarter.
Johnny Bullock, Jr., Newport News, Virginia, and Purdue. Trying to get at least another touchdown here. They know that the cause is lost insofar as upsetting the Buckeyes, but they would like to get one more touchdown if they possibly can. And Mike Phipps drops back, rolls to the right, fires a pass, complete at the 2-yard line, and the receiver is hit by 2 or 3 of the Buckeyes there immediately. It was Ashley Bell who made that reception as he went down, cut towards the east sideline here, hauled the ball in, and he was immediately tackled by Phil Strickland and Ted Provo. It has not been the day for Phipps and Purdue. He has now completed 15 out of 40 passes for the day. And 5 intercepted.
Fumble as he sends Cooper into the center of that line. He was hit very, very hard. Howard in there, a sophomore from Cincinnati. Paul Smidlin is in there. Several more. Hit very, very hard. They keep that ball, but barely. And they are no closer to the goal line than they were before they ran that play. We'll call it 3rd and 3. Clock shows a minute 24 seconds left to play. Ends are in tight. He has a flanker to the left side. Phipps drops back. Throws into the end zone, complete for a touchdown. And the receiver is Ashley Bell, who has scored his 10th touchdown on a pass this year for Purdue. Phipps was hit at the 10 just as he fired that pass, but Bell was open right in front of the goalpost, and Purdue had themselves their 2nd touchdown of the day. Here's Jeff Jones trying to keep his record going, his streak going with consecutive kicks, and he does to make the score 42-14. And Jeff Jones, with 2 kicks here today, now has 41 consecutive. I hope I'm right on that, and I don't think I am for some reason. The figures might be wrong. You think so? The one you're wearing is wrong, but this one you have here. An NCAA record of 39 extra points. That's for 2 seasons, I think. He has the NCAA season record, I know that. 1 minute, 12 seconds left, Bill, for this football game. 42-12 in favor of Ohio State over Purdue. 42-14. I saw 1 minute and 12 seconds left on the scoreboard. Well, the Boilermakers are going to be very, very sore physically. Yeah, they've taken quite a pounding. The green grass is no longer completely green. It's pretty white. A lot of dandruff down there today. Snow has been falling rather hard for this last half. Here's Jones with a kickoff. With the wind, this one hits down at the 20, and Leo Hayden tries to make a leaping catch before the ball goes out of bounds. He touches the ball, I believe, and then it goes out of bounds. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Ohio State at their own 12-yard line. Buckeyes today have been just absolutely magnificent as a football team, both offensively and defensively. They knew they had to contain Mike Phipps in his passing. They did just that with great coverage and a fine rush put on him. And offensively, they have shown a little bit of everything. Here's Ken Rusnick coming in there, and he makes a sweeper on the right side, upfield to about the 20-yard line. And Kevin Rusnick, a senior from Garfield, New Jersey, has come in for the first time. He's the number 3 quarterback here for Woody Hayes. And he moves the ball back out to about the 20. He was brought down by John Handy. He's played quite a good game here in the second half particularly. He didn't see much action in the first half. 2nd and 2. And a handoff and a drive into the right side of that line is going to net short yardage. The clock shows 22 seconds left to play, and it is still running, and that may be the last play of this football game. He was tackled in there by Lewis. And Ohio State, which has just been a tremendous powerhouse this year, extending its winning streak. And they begin to chant the count here with 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. And a handoff just before that final second he elapsed. Run into the line, that's a couple of yards. And that is the end of this football game before some 85,000 fans. And Ohio